By the time the main course arrived, I already knew what was coming. Sunday dinners at her parents' house followed a script as predictable as gravity. Her father would ask about work, her mother would comment on the food, and my wife, Claire, would find a way to turn the conversation toward everything I hadn't accomplished. At first, years ago, I thought it was just teasing, then I thought it was stress. Eventually, I realized it was something else entirely, a quiet need to elevate herself by shrinking me. That night was no different. Her father carved the roast while making polite conversation. "So Mark, how business going?" I opened my mouth to answer, but Claire beat me to it with a laugh. "Oh, you know," she said, waving her fork, still chasing those big ideas that never go anywhere. A few people chuckled nervously. I forced a smile. "It's going fine." "Fine," she repeated like the word itself was embarrassing. "That's Mark's favorite achievement." Her sister looked down at her plate. Even her mother winced slightly. This wasn't new, but it never got less uncomfortable. I had started a small consulting company 2 years earlier after leaving a stable corporate job. The first year had been rough. The second year better, not spectacular but promising. Claire never acknowledged that part. Instead, she preferred the version of me that made her look successful by comparison. "And you're still working from home," she added. "Must be nice not having a real boss." The implication hung in the air. Failure. I took a sip of water to buy myself time. Arguing at the table would only make things worse. I had learned that the hard way. Her father cleared his throat. "Entrepreneurship takes courage." Claire rolled her eyes, or denial. Silence fell like a dropped plate. I felt something tighten in my chest, not anger, not even hurt anymore, just exhaustion, the kind that comes from carrying the same weight for too long. "I'm proud of what I'm building," I said quietly. She smirked. "Someone should be." That was when her phone buzzed. Not unusual, Claire was always checking messages, but this time the screen lit up brightly on the table, face up, impossible to ignore. And everyone saw it. Her expression changed instantly. Color drained from her face, smile collapsing as if someone had pulled a plug. "What is it?" her mother asked. Claire grabbed for the phone, but it was too late. Her father had already read the preview out loud without meaning to. "Final notice, outstanding balance due immediately." The room went silent. Claire froze. I watched her hands tremble as she turned the phone over, like hiding the screen could erase what everyone had seen. "Claire," her sister said softly. "It's nothing," she snapped too quickly. But the silence had shifted, not awkward now, heavy, suspicious. Her mother frowned. "What balance?" Claire didn't answer. Her father's voice sharpened. "Claire." Tears suddenly filled her eyes. I didn't want anyone to know," she whispered. My stomach dropped. This wasn't about a late bill. "I invested in something," she said, voice cracking. "A startup. My friend said it was guaranteed returns." No one spoke. "I took out loans," she continued. "Personal loans, credit cards. I thought I could pay it back before anyone noticed." "How much?" her father asked quietly. Claire's lips trembled. "Almost 200,000. Her mother gasped. Her sister covered her mouth. And for the first time in years, Claire looked small. Not confident, not superior, just scared. Her father leaned back slowly, stunned. "You went into that kind of debt without telling anyone." She nodded, tears spilling down her face. "I didn't want Mark to know," she said. Everyone turned to me. I felt like I was watching someone else's life unfold from across the room. "Why not?" her mother asked gently. Claire's voice broke completely. "Because I kept calling him a failure, and I didn't want him to see that I was the one who messed up." The words hit me harder than any insult she had ever thrown. Not because they were cruel, because they were honest. For years, she had been projecting her own fear onto me. My steady but uncertain path had terrified her, so she mocked it, trying to distance herself from the possibility of failing too. Her father rubbed his temples. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" "I thought I was helping us," she sobbed. "I wanted to prove I could do something big." I finally spoke. "How bad is it?" I asked quietly. She looked at me like she expected anger, contempt, maybe even satisfaction. "Bad," she whispered, "really bad." I nodded slowly. Then I did something no one at that table expected. "It's okay," I said. Claire stared at me, stunned. "What?" "We'll figure it out." Her eyes widened. You don't hate me." I shook my head. "No. But I've been horrible to you," she said, "for years." That's true, I replied calmly, but this isn't about keeping score. Tears streamed down her face now, silent and unstoppable. I thought you were weak, she said, but you're the only person here not judging me. I reached across the table and took her hand. Being steady isn't weakness, I said. It just doesn't look impressive until things fall apart. Her father exhaled slowly, some of the tension leaving his shoulders. What's the plan? He asked me. I shrugged slightly. First we breathe, then we talk to professionals. Debt can be managed. Claire squeezed my hand like it was the only solid thing left in the world. I don't deserve you, she whispered. Maybe not, I said gently, but you have me anyway. On the drive home, she cried the entire way. Not loud, dramatic sobs, just quiet, broken tears. I'm so sorry, she said over and over. I kept one hand on the wheel, the other resting lightly on hers. I know, I said. After a long silence, she asked, why didn't you ever leave me? I thought about it. Because I saw who you were underneath all that fear, I said, and because love isn't just about who someone is at their best. She leaned her head against the window, exhausted. I spent years calling you a failure, she whispered, and tonight you saved me from becoming one. I shook my head slightly. You're not a failure, I said. You just made a bad decision. And you did. Of course I did, I replied. I married someone who didn't believe in me. She gave a small, tearful laugh. Do you regret it? I looked at her, really looked, stripped of confidence, stripped of armor, just human. No, I said, because tonight you finally saw me. She squeezed my hand tightly. And for the first time in a long time, the silence between us felt honest instead of heavy. Sometimes the loudest person in the room isn't the strongest. Sometimes the strongest person is the one who stays calm when everything else falls apart. And that night when her phone lit up and the room went silent, Claire learned something I had known all along. Failure isn't about falling. It's about who's still standing beside you when you do.